This is Moving Forward with Dr. Diana Clark. Welcome to this episode of Moving Forward Talk with Diana, where we share real stories of struggle, growth, and healing with the goal of encouraging others. Today's conversation is especially important for everyone navigating their 20s or stepping into adulthood and responsibilities. Sometimes, guys, so many of us look strong on the outside during that season of our lives, but internally, we are trying to figure out our purposes, identity, establish relationships, creating discipline and direction. And so today, our guest shares what his journey really looked like behind the scenes, from the struggle of life that people didn't see to serving in the U.S. Army Reserve, working full time, continuing his education, and stepping into the role of husband and father. So today we have Shamaya Royal. He's a prolific business and family man. He is a supporter, very supportive. This is actually maybe fourth time appearing in Moving Forward Talk with Diana. And he is a man of integrity. When I met him some years ago, I knew then he has the potential. And guess what? Today he is my bonus son. Mr. Royal, it's a
Yes,
pleasure.
yes, yes. Thank you for
And
having me.
you're welcome. And I don't remember how it started, but I call him Prince. But now he has his own son with the given name Prince. So no, I have to stop calling him Prince and calling him Mr. Royal. Mr.
So
Royal,
you calling me Prince came from I used to always say I'm the African Prince from Zamunda. Because Coming to America is one of my favorite movies, and that's where that came from.
right. And then he named his son Prince. So we can't have two Prince, right?
No.
Prince Senior and Prince Junior. So guys, let's get into this conversation about growth, responsibilities, and what it truly means to keep moving forward through life's transition. So, Mr. Royal, for those who don't know you, just give them a little bit about yourself.
So as you stated, my name is Shamaya. I'm originally born and raised, honestly, in North Carolina. Um, Grew up both mom and dad. My parents have four kids in total. So navigating growing up, I'm the middle child or the new baby, as you know, the older people say. So navigating relationships in throughout childhood into adulthood. I graduated high school and went to college, earned my 4-year degree. I actually have a made bachelor's in criminal justice. Shortly, 19 days after that, I joined the military. It was a quick turnaround. Student loans, no joke. So I knew I had to do something. So that was like, I think that was like one of my first, we need to talk about like pivots. That's probably like my first big pivot. Um, so yeah, man, I did military 9 years, got married, like you said, now I have two kids, I have Prince and Payson. And I'm just, trying to do the best that I can in life.
Do the best that we can. And I think when I met you, we're going to get into the interview, but I think when I met you
Okay.
also, I mentioned something about Cornel West. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So was there a turning point when you realized that something in your life needed to change during your 20s?
During my 20s, honestly, I have a couple of those to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very like self-reflecting person, so I always sit down a lot of times and just evaluate the things that I'm doing or things that I've done. Um, so I think the first time in my 20s would probably be I was in college, I was about to graduate, and like I said, it was going to the military. It was okay, you know the things you want in life, you know that this step here can help you, achieve those goals and get one step closer. So, and to be completely honest, I never wanted to go into the military, and that's why I say it was a pivot because it forced me to change my way of thinking. When I was in elementary, middle, and high school, I was like, I am not going to the military. I am not, all the things for this country, you name it. Yeah, that was me. And then like once real life started to hit me, and I had to have a real plan, I'm like, you know what? I have to do what I gotta do. I gotta do what's best for me and my future. So that was like my first pivot
Right. And that pivot took you to where you are today.
for
Now,
sure.
yeah, what was one of the biggest struggle you were facing that no one saw? People didn't see it, didn't know about it, you didn't share it.
Direction. I feel like on the outside looking in, it probably looked like I had like all the direction in the world because I'm such a go-getter then and now, still to this day. But I really didn't know um what I wanted to do, where I was headed. I just knew I wasn't going back to, where I started. So it was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just try it. Like that was my whole thing. I'm gonna try and see what happens. And so it was like a lot of people didn't know that I struggled with direction. I didn't really have a lot of people that I could turn to even ask for that direction. So a lot of it was just me kind of figuring it out.
Figuring that, creating your path, right?
Yes, yes.
Sometimes during our childhood, early adulthood, we see the need to say, okay, I definitely have to create a different path. What I've
Hmm.
seen, it's working, but there can be some improvement, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, what were there any experience of doubt about your future? And how did you push through those doubts?
Yeah. One of the darkest times for me, and a lot of people might not even. I've never really even spoke on this.
Mhm,
So a lot of people might not even know this, that I did a semester in law school when I originally moved to Florida. I did a semester in law school. The school that I attended was a for-profit school.
mhm,
Um, so the grading scale was basically designed to kick the first half of this, like half of the students out the first semester.
mhm.
And so I moved to Florida from North Carolina. Didn't really know anybody, just moved down there, chasing a dream. At least I thought it was a dream. And was in school. I was working hard as all get out, not knowing that the odds are already stacked up against me, but I'm
Man,
working as hard as I possibly could. And at the end of the semester, didn't like fail any classes, but fell at the bottom end of the class and was kicked out of school. And so much doubt came in that time. Like, well, are you who you say you are? Like, you failed. Just being okay with defeat and growing up playing sports, like that's complete opposite of what you're taught. But
mhm.
I had to learn that in life. Like, you know what? Sometimes it's okay to fail. It's okay because it's a lesson. It's okay. So trying to really figure out what I was going to do. I knew I didn't want to go back to school because that school was so expensive, and it goes back to the whole student loan thing. So I didn't want to do that. So it was like doubt of who I was, who I was going to become. I didn't know. Like I said, at that point, I was just like, I'm gonna just, and people were trying to encourage me to move back to North Carolina after that happened. And I just said, no, what, I'm gonna bet on me. So I stayed in Florida probably 6 more years or something
Mhm.
like that, or 4 to 6 more years after that situation, just to prove to myself that, I am who I say I am. And I'm not gonna let a tough time like make me tuck tail and run. So,
I love that. That was the motivation of what fuel the fire to fuel your motivation to continue. But what I
mm-hmm,
love is, especially when you say I had to prove to myself,
mm-hmm,
because sometimes when doubts shows up, right? When doubt shows up, we are proving
mm-hmm,
to others. We want
right,
to really walk into the expectation of everybody else, but what we
Yeah,
really wanted. So can you
yeah,
repeat that again, that you had to prove to yourself? Just for
yeah.
those in
I
the
had
back.
Yeah, I had to prove to myself. Like honestly, I'm still like that to this day. Like
Hmm.
I never compare myself to anyone, because it's me versus me. I have to wake up every day and
Hmm.
be better than myself. And it's just like I said, if I feel like I'm falling short of who I say I am, then I have to prove to myself, okay, you've been telling yourself you're this. Let's see it.
That internal validation is truly the foundation.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So usually transition naturally structure into growth, right?
Hmm.
How did serving in the U.S. Reserve shape your discipline, change your mindset, and help you approach challenges?
Uh, well, I was in the National Guard. I want to correct that. Not the reserves, the National Guard. I don't want
Thank you.
nobody to be commenting on your YouTube channel. I was in the National Guard.
Okay.
So think as a couple, military taught me a lot. The first thing I'm gonna say, the military taught me how to take an L and keep on going because
Mhm.
in the military, you kind of, I mean, your circumstances isn't always going to be ideal, and it just taught me to like take whatever is thrown in front of me and just keep going. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't like I didn't have the opportunity to sit around and like out or be like, this sucks. Yeah, it sucks, but you got no choice. So it taught me that. Also too, it taught me to like a lot of that just believing in myself because it put me in such like tough situations that
Mhm.
I had to figure out. I had to come out on top. So it taught me to believe in myself because every time I achieved something, it was just like another bar was added to my confidence meter. So
Mhm.
I think that was another thing it taught me. Taught me also too how to network because the military is a huge organization, but it's small at the same time.
Mhm.
So it taught me how to network because there's a lot of states I can go into right now, and I probably know somebody there, and I could call them right in, and they're like, open doors, hey, what do you need? And vice versa. If they come here, it's the same situations because, that relationship we were able to form over the years.
And how did education and working full time help shape your direction?
Uh, I'm gonna be honest, education, so when it comes down to education, I remember like when I had to be in fifth, like I wasn't even in fifth grade. I was maybe in the third grade. My aunt Aggie taught at Johnson Community College, and she used to like bring me the coursework that she was giving her students to my house for me to do. I remember her bringing me big packets of schoolwork and like making me sit down and do them. So education was always
Mhm.
like a thing for me. Like I remember every holiday, every birthday, she would bring me a book, no matter what. Bring a book, bring a book. I still remember the first book she ever gave me, The Little Engine That Could. And that's part of funny, it's part of my story, the little internet could.
Mhm.
But so education for sure has always been paramount. I encourage anyone to further your education. It doesn't have to be in traditional school. That can be
Mhm.
in, just being a self-learner. But education and working full time, it just taught me how like I have to be able to balance multiple things at one time. Um, 'Cause I was in college, you had so many things going on at once that you had to be able to time management, figuring out, hey, this deserves this time slot, this deserves this time slot. Working full time also too, I still got to show up because I got to pay bills, so I got to make sure that whatever they're asking me for, I'm able to produce. So it just kind of helped me just manage my time and just be, well-rounded because I learned so much throughout my time in college and in my different places that I worked.
Why do I want to ask you, how do you show up for yourself during those times? How did you show
Uh,
up for yourself?
when I was in college or
When you were
when,
in college, because it's a lot to navigate, working full
huh?
time, right? In
Huh?
college, how did you show up for Shamaya?
So a lot of I started lifting weights in college.
Uh-huh.
So like working out was like, and it's still to this day my outlet. Like it's I can go into the gym with a million things on my mind. By the time I
Mm,
finish that workout, my mind's gonna be clear. I'm gonna be calm. Especially now, I picked up running too. So like running now, I can go run, and for the rest of the day, I'm so mellow. You know?
mm.
So that for sure helps me out a lot. Just being able to, you know, move my body, and
Yeah,
I also too have people that I can confide in. So if things are getting tough or and I need some a listening ear, like I have people that I can call or sit down with and talk to.
right. Thank you. And I asked that question because sometimes, especially since we're talking to individuals, right, who are
Yeah,
navigating, who are there now in life navigating. Sometimes they're so focused on accomplishing our goals, right? We're showing up for work, we're focusing on completing our courses, classes, or earning that degree. We forget to show up for ourselves. We
you
forget,
gotta
yeah.
you gotta put yourself as a priority.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that goes to all stages in life though. That's not even
Mm-hmm.
just like being in college or like working full time. Even when you become a parent, even when you never put yourself so low on the priority list that you never get to yourself. Like, because if you pour from an empty cup, everything else is going to be, dehydrated also. So
Yeah.
never put yourself that low on the priority list that you don't do something for you.
And I'm glad you said that. I don't know if you look at my WhatsApp status. I was sitting yesterday at work and I said, no, I have to show up for myself. And
Mhm.
right then and there, my status, I put short-term goal for May, 2 consecutive days locked away from the world.
I do that all the time. I do that
And
all the time.
this is going to be my first time doing that.
It's good.
But I noticed myself just a little bit running so low. You can tell from today, but a little bit running so low to the point where I said, hold on, I'm showing up for everyone else, right?
Yeah, yeah.
My job, everything else I have going on. And then, okay, so right now, so 2 consecutive days, take time for yourselves. It may not be the 2 days, but and someone responded to me quickly after I posted that and said, it's not going to happen for you. So now it's a challenge for me to prove it to myself that I am going to spend that time with and to myself.
So I'll put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I'll just like the only people that I will be like
Yeah.
intertwined with is my family here at home.
Hmm.
But the outside world, like I won't get on social media. People like text or call, as long as it's not something urgent, like I'll get
Right.
back to them, when I can. But just trying to create that space, like that
Hmm.
separation between the world and yourself, because I know me and you both are the same in this. We carry a lot on our
Hmm.
shoulders. You
Hmm.
know, we're very caring people. We try to do as much as we can for others, and it's like you got to at some point though refuel yourself. So
Yeah.
take those days, and I can't wait to hear how you like it. Because I'm telling you, I love it. I do it all the time.
Yeah. How do you find time to do it all the time?
Because you got to set like a boundary for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I'll get back to people when I can. And if anybody feels a way about you doing that, then they don't respect your time or your boundaries anyway. That's how I look at it. Like I don't feel like I have to be on call. We're gonna talk about work. I don't feel like I have to be on call for anybody in this world except for people that's in this house. Unless it's like emergency, drop everything, come trouble. But even then,
Hmm.
like I'll see my phone. I'm like, okay, cool. They just checking in. I'll hit them back later. So like establish that.
Yeah. Great. What habits help you grow the most, and what distraction slowed your progress?
In my 20s or
Mm-hmm.
like just now.
20s, in your 20s.
What helped me grow the most? Uh Forcing myself to be a self-learner. Like
Mm-hmm.
because there were so many things I realized that I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't know about, and forcing myself to watch or listen to podcasts, read books, read news articles. So just being a self-learner, that helped me grow the most because it's a lot of stuff that I learned that now I use every day. Or um, even if, like, let's say, for instance, I'm in a room and conversation is being held, I may know a little bit about it just because I read a newsletter every
Hmm.
morning.
Yeah,
It may be talking about something that's going on in the world, and I read the newsletter, so I'm aware of what's going on. So just being a self-learner, I think, helped helped me grow the most. What held me back the most, I'll say, is playing it too safe. Like if if I could go back, I would have took way more risk in my 20s. And when I say risk, I mean like not going out here doing nothing crazy, but um, like I would have for sure bought more real estate in my 20s. I would have for sure probably opened up a business in my 20s. Because now in my 30s, I got a wife and two kids. I'm not going to risk them
yeah,
not having,
right.
But in my 20s, when it was just me, I could have figured it out. It was just me. So I think that I would have took more risk in my 20s just to, and it's no telling where I would be, honestly, if I would have did that.
Yeah. But we're moving forward to
Oh, yeah.
accomplishing all of that, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. It's still going to happen. It's just happening a
Yeah.
little slower now than it could have in my 20s.
So now Mr. Roll is a grown man,
Yeah.
a husband, and a father of two.
Uh-huh.
What did that teach you about yourself?
Cool. A lot. To be honest, I look at the boys all the time, and I'm supposed to be teaching them, but I'm like, they have no idea that how much they're teaching me. Um, you talk about like just patience.
Yeah.
They taught me to be patient. Like I learned I had zero patience, and they taught me to be patient. They taught me to be in the moment. And
Mhm.
they forced me to slow down. And, I might be doing something like from them this morning. I'm trying to get this stuff ready for the class that I'm teaching. And Peyton wants to play basketball. So he's like walking out to me, just throwing the basketball. I'm
Mhm.
like, Peyton, no, you gotta wait, you gotta wait. And then you get to the point where you're like, what? Come on, you go and play.
Yeah.
Um, it taught me to just be in the moment. It taught
Yeah.
me what it's a love that I've never experienced.
Mhm.
I could be hard on them at
Mhm.
times when need be, and in the same breath, they're it still love me like nothing's happened. Like I cannot be my best that day.
Mhm.
I could come in and feel like, man, you really failed today. You didn't
Yeah.
hit anything you're supposed to, and they don't care nothing about that. You know, I could have not got something done,
Mhm.
and they care nothing about that. It's, hey, dad, let's play
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Being married taught me the importance of partnership, being working, with someone, being vulnerable to someone, opening up to someone, vulnerable and opening up, same thing. But it taught me that because I was for sure closed off. I wasn't sharing nothing. Like, no, you won't know nothing. But she taught me the importance of and the power of, honestly, like just being open and vulnerable with another person and the reward you can gain from that.
And I can hear it. That voice got emotional just then. And I can see the facial expression. It's like you're so in tune talking about your wife and sons.
Yeah.
And when you said you never experienced a love like that before, I think that's what you
Uh-huh.
said with your boys. All I
Uh-huh.
can hear in my ear is the song that said "Got to Be Real."
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all I
Uh-huh.
can hear is, and I know, guys, that's not what that song was all about. But we can apply it the way we want to apply it, right? But that is
Uh-huh.
all I can hear is that song playing now. So now your sense of purpose has changed.
For sure. Like,
Yeah.
I credit Prince to a lot of my success because that day Emily put that pregnancy test on the counter, my life changed forever.
Hmm.
And like my motivation, my drive, my attention to detail, all of that was completely different. I remember sitting in front. I got pictures of me and Prince sitting in front of a laptop studying for this IT cert.
Yeah.
So and when I passed the test, I brought me in Prince on because he was my study partner. So my motivation and all of that just
Hmm.
changed. Like I said, the purpose now, like I understand legacy so much deeper now.
Hmm.
Um, and now that I'm a father than I did before.
So I don't have to ask, guys. I'm not around Mr. Royal a lot, but we talk, and not as
Mhm.
often as we should. However, I don't have to ask that. I know for sure he's a wonderful father.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, he's a wonderful father. He's doing a great job,
I
right?
appreciate that.
His boys are his heart.
For sure.
Yeah. And there's a quote I saw some time ago that say, I would walk through the fiery furnace and climb the highest mountain if on the opposite side I know you were there. And I can only imagine that you would do that knowing your kids are on the opposite side waiting
For sure.
for you. Yeah.
And I tell you, that I never felt the love like that before. There's nothing in this world I won't do.
Yeah. And so with all that though, is there any lesson you wish you understood earlier about becoming a husband and a father?
Yeah, I I'll say that. And honestly, they people say it all the time, but like I didn't really
Mm-hmm.
understand it until being in my role is like you did. And
Mm-hmm.
I know in the society we live in to this day, some people don't like this saying, but I'm gonna say it because it's what I believe. A man is the head,
Mm-hmm.
and body moves according, to the
Mm-hmm.
head, and everything else follows. And it's just like that in the household too. So like when they see me doing certain things, they follow. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not even just talking about the boys, it's in me also, you know. So if I want them to do like if I say, hey, I know health is important. I want y'all to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be healthy. I got to go out there and show them moving my body. I got to show them me eating healthy. If I say I want y'all to read, I want y'all to be avid readers. They got to see me reading.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like I remember people saying that when I was a kid, but I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So like it was times in the beginning where I kind of struggled because it's like I felt like everybody was looking at me, like looking to me. I'm like, dang,
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of pressure, and I'm trying to figure out the best way that I can. But I just had to learn to like embrace my role and show up and it's made a difference, like being able to like understand now. It's like, like you're not just doing this for you. Right? It follows down.
Yeah. That legacy is very important.
Mhm.
And sometimes when we talk about legacies, sometimes our mind just go directly to money, but it's
It's
more
not.
than
No,
it's more
no.
than that. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think that's such a small portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about it, you see these families who will have millions and millions of dollars to pass down, and their kids lose it. It's because their legacy, and I don't know you personally, but you got to teach the morals that go with that.
Right.
You got to teach the habits and the traits that go with that. If not,
Mm-hmm.
that means nothing. So for me, yeah, like it's way more than just money. It's
Yeah.
those traits.
So let's do this.
Hmm.
If you could talk to your 20-year-old self at the highest peak of your struggle during your 20s, what would you say to your 20-year-old self?
Just keep grinding. Like just keep grinding. Like, it's gonna it's everything gonna be all right. Just keep grinding. Don't get too down on yourself. You're gonna figure it out. Just write you a plan. Stay disciplined, and don't forget to like enjoy life. Like 'cause this is all a part of your story too. So,
Yeah.
and just because you're in like a rut, don't mean that you got to walk around here and live in that. Be happy. Still, I mean, things could be a lot worse. So, you know, enjoy life too.
Yep. And what would your 20-year-old self say to the man you are today?
Ah, uh, 20-year-old me, man, I'm proud of you. You know,
Yeah.
you you did everything you said you was gonna do, or up until this point, anyway. That I would know from 20 to 30, you did everything you said you was gonna do. Or if you ain't done it yet, you got things in motion.
Mhm.
Um, you didn't quit on yourself. Yeah.
Wow. You didn't quit on yourself. I don't know. Every time I hear that, it's very sentimental to me. Because
Yeah.
a lot of us quit on ourselves, right?
Mhm.
A lot of individual, we quit on ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes when we quit on ourselves, it's so hard to get up and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the young man out there who is struggling, talk to those young men out there right now who struggling, possibly seem a bit hopeless and quitting on themselves.
First thing first, get around you some people want that either lives the way that you want to see yourself live, or want the things that you want out of life. Like that's first things first. Get around those people because the conversations change, the
Mhm,
habits change, the places you frequent changes.
mhm.
So find you a mentor, find some guys that's like minded, and get around them. You know, that'd be my first thing too. Really sit down and figure yourself out. Like I think we got a lot of guys walking around here who don't know themselves. Figure out who you are. What's your likes, what's your dislikes. That's one of the most this generation, that's happened before this generation,
Mhm.
but people walk around wanting to get to know somebody else. They want to date or whatever, and they don't really know yourself. Get to know you first.
That's powerful.
Um, yeah, get to know you. Um, Outside of getting to know you, like stay away from drugs, stay away from excessive alcohol, like um, avoid avoid the distractions. I'm gonna just say that. Avoid the distractions. There's a lot of distractions in this world, for young men especially. And you got the streets, you got cemeteries, you got
Mm,
having a whole bunch of babies out of wedlock, you got
mhm.
all these things. So avoid the distractions. That stuff, in the long run, you lose. It may seem fun in the moment. It might look cool. You might get some notoriety or whatever because people condone foolishness, but in the long run, you lose. So distractions, avoid the distractions. And lastly, let me say, go get you some, have some kind of hustle about you. So like, go get you some kind of money, whether it be working for someone, whether it
Mhm.
be, looking at starting your own business, but have something that, my dad used to always tell me a man got to have some money in his pocket.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Like, go have some kind of hustle about you and figure that part out as well.
Thank you so very much for such empowering conversation. This conversation like this remind us that growth doesn't happen overnight. And that's where sometimes a lot of us look for that microwave, right? That microwave solution. And most people are fighting battles in their 20s that others never see. Becoming a man, a husband, a father, and building direction in life. Remember, it takes discipline, and you spoke about it, patience, and support along the way.
Right.
So, if today's conversation encouraged you, especially if you're navigating your own season of uncertainty and transition, remember that progress is still possible even when the path seems unclear. Thank you for joining us on Moving Forward, where we continue sharing real life stories of growth, struggles, growth, and healing. And as always, keep moving forward until next week. Mr. Roy, it was a pleasure to really have you. Thanks again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.